Good evening, everyone. This is Rodney with the Triton Wave Market Outlook for Wednesday, November 7th, 2012. All right, let's start by looking at the S&Ps. This is election night, and thank God it's going to be over after tonight. It's been a drag for a really long time. And really doesn't matter who becomes president. We still have the same economic problems. We still have almost 100% spending near GDP levels, which means slower growth rates, and that's independent of who wins. It's a monumental task to get this economy back. I'm just hoping there is a winner, because if it goes into some kind of indecision or recount, then it's not going to be a very happy scenario for the bulls, and they won't even have time to get out. On a technical level, we have this line here of 1421 that I've been talking about for a long time. It goes back to 1999, and we breached it a couple times. We're building a right shoulder. We built a left shoulder here that took about 10 trading days, and we got about a 9 or 10 trading day right shoulder now. We are currently, as of 7:22 Central Time, we are at 1418, which is 3 points below that critical line. So we're building a right shoulder. We haven't breached this trend line that goes all the way back to this nice little channel here that started in June, and whoever invested billions of dollars today on the upside, 133-point move in the Dow, picking winners before they knew, might get their head handed to them, because we're already down 725 on the S&P after being up, I think, 13 or 14 today. So we're halfway back down. So technically, these are Triton waves: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So T1, T2, T3 is below zero completely. T4 and the last 2 trading days, as I expand this, you can see they're below zero. So yes, there's going to be some hiccups to the upside. If we look at that's the daily looks down, but that doesn't mean the 21 isn't going to pop up. Now the 21 sometimes gives you a good representation of what's going to move, and sometimes it's a little bit late, like right here was a little bit late. So I moved it to, if we look at the 5-minute cash price, let's get some more data in here. Okay, if we look at the 5-minute cash price, that actually took off on Monday at, you can see the time at the bottom of the screen at 12:25. So it's a nice smooth move to the upside on T2, and has carried it all the way through to your exit point would have been 1425. Let's see what the 5-minute looks like on the 5-minute on the ABC waves are the same thing. Comes down here, look at the B wave or the C wave. It gets you short at 12:25 on 11:2, and long again on the B wave on Monday at 1:30, and now short again. So it's just a simple matter of not listening to the political realm and using waves to tell you which way this is likely to go. And also, if you want to do a side-by-side comparison, this chart on the right-hand side that's half covered up is the 1597, and the chart on the left is the 5. So side-by-side comparisons are on Monday at noontime, T2 moved above 0. It was confirmed by T3 and then T4 at the opening, but it kind of gapped open, so that wouldn't have helped you. And on the 1597, it got you in even earlier. Some nice clean moves. T3 completely above 0. Then T4 confirms it, and that's all on Monday at 9:30 in the morning. And then it starts coming down again at 1:30 this afternoon, almost nearly at the peak. It's 1426, which is 3 points from the peak. And there you can see the whole thing as it goes back. So there's some nice moves in here. On the ABC charts, on the 1597, there they are right there. The C wave goes above 0, C wave goes below 0. Now, if you want to, you can look at these. I was looking at the 987 tick chart, and it doesn't flow as smoothly because there's so much activity. So the more activity there is, the longer the tick has to be, and they're all Fibonacci progressions. So at nighttime, you can use the 610 or the 987, but during the daytime you should really use the 1597 against the 5-minute or against the 21-minute or against the daily. So you want to be in sync going it, but it doesn't mean you can't play a counter trend trade, because the daily's been showing down for the last 3 or 4 or 5 days. And there are some obviously fantastic counter trend trades of from 1404 to 1427. So you just have to be careful not to get caught if it moves down like it has after hours, like in this area right here. So always have stops in place, and if you're going to play them at night, don't fall asleep on them. All right, let's look at my favorite stock is Apple Computer. There are a lot of funds that hold this, a lot of institutions that hold this, and if the market goes down and this keeps on going down, we are going to have a capitulation in Apple that's going to be worth about 50 to 70 points. Just be very, very careful. T1, 2, 3, and 4 are all below 0. The big wave, T5, just went below 0 in the last yesterday, on Monday and Tuesday. And as a result, following the waves, the Apple started off, almost hit the 8-period moving average, and then backed off. It was down 177 today. At one point it was down 4.5. But I suggested that on the last video, they would probably, let me straighten this out a little bit here. On the last video, that it would probably hit the 233 exponential moving average before any kind of serious bounce. And actually, it did. It doesn't look it on the daily, but if you look at it on what happened at 3 o'clock in the morning, right in here, at 3:02 Central Time, it hit 570, which is right about here. So if you happen to be up that time of the evening or in the middle of the night stretching or whatever, then you're doing an off-market overseas trade, then you were able to take your profits on the downside, but that was the hit. I do expect this to come back down again, and just given the fact that it was down today against a very, very strong market, I think this is going to hit 568, and we may just, I've suggested before that it's doing kind of a dance between the the fib exponential moving averages, like between the 55 and the 89 in here for 5 or 6 days, in between the 89 and the 144, now in between the 144 and the 233. So it could come back up here, flirt with this. Miracles happen. It could hit 607. It'd be an absolutely perfect short, or it just could blow through the 233, making the next target 515, which I know is a long way away, but I've seen stranger things happen. That would be a capitulation. That would be a short-term capitulation where this would be just an outright buy and a short covering. If we look at Amazon T on the daily on the left-hand chart, T1 to half a 3 and almost 4. It's 0.003. So tomorrow's trading will take it below 0. And on T5, that is not quite below 0. It would, if it stays neutral or goes down just a little bit, this is going to be down. First time it's been down since back in July, the end of July, when it was 218. So I don't see Amazon recovering too quickly here. That doesn't mean you can't take counter trend trades like right here, but they've been kind of meager. 228, 237, and this just popped up to the 377 exponential moving average. So, and also the dark blue line, which is the longest wave that I have, is still below 0 even on the 21. So I'd be cautious. This may have a potential of moving up, you know, like 2 or 3 more points, but I don't. I'm undecided with Amazon at this price target, at this pricing. Okay, another undecided for me is Goldman Sachs. It had a nice move on the daily that kept it going from 94 all the way to 127, and it keeps moving up. Now, whether this is in support of European banks or this general feeling of well-being, I have no idea. But this is not playable to the downside unless you do a counter trend trade like we did from 124 down to 120 and actually got 118 for it, or to the move down here. We took a small move. It was only a 2-point move, but so until Goldman Sachs goes below 0 on T1, and let's take a look at ABC waves, because those are the ones that, if you have the ABC waves, that's what you'll be looking at. Whoops, daily. Okay, so on T1, they're already, I'm sorry, on the A wave, they've already moved below 0. So on the 21 minute, they are about to move below 0. So let's do a side-by-side comparison of the 21. A wave is a little bit ahead of T1 up here, but it's a nice flow. You can catch that pretty nicely from some of the peaks and some of the valleys here. So I need that to go down below 0, and then you can pick it off all the way down to 121. Now, if the daily all of a sudden moves down to below 0 on T2, I'm sorry, on T1, then this is basically, you play this from the short side and watch out for snapback rallies. Okay, Baidu was my favorite stock to short until it went nowhere sideways. Then as soon as I decided not to play it, it plummeted 7 points and then kept going. It actually hit my 105 target, which is unbelievable because because I wasn't in it. but now T1 and T2 and T3 and T, now they are all below zero. So let's look at the 21 on Baidu, and short term, it's got a little bit of a lift to it. It may come back up to 107, 108. If it does, that would put it in the on the daily. It would put it on the 8 period moving average. On the 21 period moving average, it would be 110. If it gets anywhere near this 377 line, it's shortable again. Okay, Google is on T2 is now halfway below zero. T1 is completely below zero. And after that smashing from earnings, it's just gone completely sideways. And when it starts going sideways like that, then you really want to, if you're playing the 21 to the up, if you want a counter trend trade, then you have to wait for the longer waves to go up. So it did go up here on the 31st of October, and it was good for 678 to 695 until the smaller waves got you out. Actually, would have gotten out at 690. But longer term, this doesn't look very healthy. It had a huge chance to rally today, and you would expect on a rally of 133 points on the Dow, and I think it was up like 160 at one point, that it should have rallied up to 700. Instead, the high for the day was 686, and it ended up down on the day 124. That is not a good sign either for the NASDAQ or for Google, Apple, or any of those. And as a matter of fact, speaking of the NASDAQ, I just pulled it up because I haven't looked at it for a long time. It moved right back into, it's going sideways. So with all that was going on today, it was up 12 points, but it's only at 3,000. And T1, T2, T3, T4, and T5 and another 2 trading days is going to be down. So this doesn't look very good for any of the NASDAQ stocks. Of course, if you want to counter trend trade again, you use a smaller wave like the 21 for a bump up like it did last week from 2972 up to the 377, 60 points later. So you can play the QQQs on that. Okay, last I wanted to look at the GLD on the 21 cash price on T1. It gave you a really, really nice move down here from 166 down to 162, and then a move to the upside from 163 right up to 377. So in the meantime, this looks like it's cresting on T1, but at the same time, the long wave on the 21 cash, which is T5, is still below zero. So, and on the daily, T1 is below zero, half a T4, and half a T5. So this may just be a kickback rally right here, but it looks, I wouldn't recommend a position on this. I'm just saying that it looks like it may want to go down. I wouldn't move on gold until T1 was below zero. Let's take a look and see what the ABC waves look like. If you have them, you can play along. I strongly recommend that you play along with these because they'll pay for themselves 10 times over. Okay, this went down on November 1st, came back up right here, real easy, right up to 377. Now, so when the A wave goes down below zero, then that's the time that you can get in on the short side. Now, don't anticipate this, because if you think it's going to go below zero, you actually have to wait, because it can turn around and move right against you. So I've made the mistake in the past of anticipating which way I thought a wave was going to go and got my head handed to me. So the waves will tell you, and just follow. It's like surfing on the ocean. Same thing. You don't buck the trend. Okay, one more look before we go tonight. The ES, these are live charts. It's down 7 points on the ES. So it's 1.5 points off the low, so it was down 8.5. And on the 1597 tick chart, on the Triton waves, beautiful, just a beautiful move down here. T1, T2, T3, T4 is below zero. T5 hasn't gotten there yet. But if T5, if you're playing this overnight and T5 goes below zero, wait for it to come back up, kiss off the 377, and then short it. Let's see if any better indications on. Actually, that's almost. Whoops, wrong one. Actually, on the C wave, it's already below zero. So if you get this back up to 1420, that is shortable. Keep very close stops. Don't keep about a. Don't let this get away from you if it goes the other way. So I would keep a 1425 stop on this. That's all I have for tonight. This is the page that you can get in touch with me if you want at tritonwaveguy@gmail.com. And the ABC waves that I've been showing lately are waves that are available through Trade the Markets, and they're available for TradeStation, eSignal, Sierra Charts, and Ninja Trader. Good luck trading. I hope whoever you voted for president wins, and then we get back to normal in this economy. And have a good evening. See you at the next update.